Soldier Boy Audio presents Tracks of the Tiger, G-land and Bali, Indonesia by Tony Garcia. Read by Michael Crass. As a surfer, Red Briscoe was sure he had the right stuff. He had his surf tricks timed to perfection. Aerials, 360s, lip bounces, floaters, and a few others they still hadn't invented names for yet. And if proof was necessary, he'd been two-time runner-up in 1999 and 2001 at the Gulf Surf Contests at Galveston, Texas. But this wasn't Texas, and the surf at G-land on the island of Java was a whole different ballgame. The surf was too big for Red's 5'10" Al Merrick surfboard, but he didn't want to paddle in for the bigger board. Some of the guys might think he couldn't hack it. After all, Red had his image to consider. Red had been in the water for at least half an hour and hadn't caught a wave yet. He was still scrambling, trying to line up. It was downright scary out there. The way G-land was working today, the only option you had was in the timing of your takeoff. The trouble was, you had too much time to think about these big blue beauties as they came at you, breaking some 50 meters further down the line. Behind the impact zone at Money Trees, Red floated among the pack of surfers. He could see that most of them weren't ready for this shit either. He saw a couple of boogie boarders, younger guys from his surf camp, talking. Red paddled up next to them. "Did you get a few?" asked Red. "Dropped in, but it closed out," said the first boy. "They say this isn't even big," said the other kid. Well, hell, I'm not going to pussy out, thought Red. I'll show these dudes how we do it Texas style. Maybe he'd do a 360 that would make their day. Besides, the surf camp was costing Red $100 a day. If you divide that by how many waves he'd caught so far, he might as well be kicking back at Kuta Beach in Bali. For that kind of money, you could buy dinner, beantang beers for everyone on the beach, and still have enough left over for a jiggy-jiggy massage. Red made his move. He paddled away from the pack and positioned himself at the next takeoff zone. Then he saw one. Like Elvis said, it's now or never. The wave was over 2 meters. Red wheeled his board around and stroked. He dug his arms deep in the water and picked up the tempo. Red could feel his board starting to lift. Instinctively, he snapped up to the crouch position. He grabbed his rail as the wave folded over. Red was flying. He squeezed all the speed he could from his board. There was no time for any moves, forget about it. Now the wave started to pitch out in front of him. Kicking out was not an option, and in a split second, Red decided to try and punch through. The theory was, if you had enough momentum, you could punch through to the backside of the wave. Red dug his inside rail, hit the water at full speed, and felt the deceleration G's as he pushed through the wave. But instead of coming out the backside, Red could feel the wave winning this tug of war, sucking him backwards. He lost his balance and fell hard on his back on top of the board. Christ, he thought, I hope it isn't fin-side. He felt a grinding and heard a bang under his back, and was now caught in the roiling foam of the broken wave. When Red popped up to the surface, he was standing in waist-deep water, out of breath. Though the episode had lasted no more than a few seconds, it seemed an eternity. The surge tugged at him. Red lost his balance and was scraped across the bottom. He came up and turned to face the surf as the next wave broke just 10 meters from him. He dove under the white water, but not before hitting the reef again. Good God Almighty, Red thought, this business is supposed to be fun. He checked his cuts, nothing serious. His board was still usable, so he pulled it underneath him and began to paddle out again. Once outside, Red decided to drift further down the line past Speedy's and launching pad, where the waves lost most of their size and power. Then Red saw it. There had been rain the last few days, so there was a lot of flotsam in the water. It looked like just another piece of debris as he paddled past it, but then something caught his attention, startling him. From underneath the fringe of dark hair, an eye stared at him. Across the face of the dead Japanese boy, the flesh was ripped away. It looked as if a gigantic claw had torn it to shreds. In panic, Red stroked for the shore. He didn't even feel the cuts on his feet as he ran across the coral towards the beach. He's dead! Fuck, there's somebody dead out there! He ripped off his leash and ran with the board under his arm towards Mick's Tiger Track surf camp, shouting, "There's a body out there!"